I love when vets come to our master classes and want to improve the relationship they have with their bird because they're recognizing it's not the best that it can be. Plus, this conure's kind of attacking her boyfriend, so what choice does she have? So Kelly's here with Neo, her green cheek conure, who's about 11 years old and loves to attack her boyfriend. Now this mostly happens in their bird room where this bird has really staked a claim over this environment. So we're working today not only on incorporating Brandon in a little bit in a positive way, but also cleaning up some of Kelly's training because that is her ideal goal going into today.
All right, kid. Oh, my butt. Thanks for taking on my hand. Good job.
I clicked for it for you.
Thanks.
For the poop.
Did he get a treat? Did you deliver a treat?
I did not.
So deliver a treat.
So we're trying to work through getting over a discomfort and that unknown of that perch. So you definitely want to pay him for it.
Can you turn around?
Oh.
Good boy.
So I'm curious, will you tell me what the cue is for the spin?
Vocal.
Can I, just for the sake of an experiment, can I have you go in as if you're going to give the vocal cue, but then at the last second, don't give the vocal cue?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and treat that. Your cue is your body language.
Okay.
Right? So we often think that the verbal cue is the cue. Birds are paying attention to what we're doing, and it's like 98% of what's happening is our body is telling them our intentions, what we want. If you gave the turnaround cue verbally now, go ahead and try.
Turn around.
Now lean forward.
Turn around. Oh, you thought about it.
So he sees a stick too, so there it is, cool. And then the next thing that I would do to have you clean it up is you go ahead and start phasing out the use of having the target stick in your hand because it can be very confusing for him. If you're not targeting, when you're delivering the treat with the stick still in your hand, is he supposed to touch the stick or is he supposed to take the treat? And so we want that communication, again, going back to the menu, we want to be crystal clear. And if you're delivering a treat and cueing the target, that's a little muddy, right? We want to make it as crystal clear as possible. So if you're targeting, cool, target with one hand, give the treats with the other. Okay. And you can keep the target in your hand. I didn't mean necessarily get rid of it, but just make sure that when you're reinforcing, that the target stick is not in the hand you're giving the treat with.
Okay.
Good point. Much better.
So in order to set Brandon up for success today, we slowly incorporated him into a training session. Kelly started out with Neo and had a really good rhythm going, and we slowly incorporated Brandon where he started off just having the target stick in his hand while Kelly was delivering the treats. And then eventually he was doing the targeting and the treats, and then eventually he was the only one.
And then Brandon, have you done any of this with him?
No, not at all.
Okay, so Kelly, go ahead and keep your pace. And Brandon, I just want to have you stand up where you are, but stay in that spot, just standing. And what I'm doing is I'm looking for any aggressive or heightened body language, and that like he's still dialed in on Kelly. Okay, so go ahead and step one step closer to him or to her. Awesome. And on this rep, I'm going to have you go ahead and get the bird to target over, and Kelly will deliver the treat. So just put it in there, let him touch, and Kelly gives a treat. Perfect. Now Kelly will do the target to the far right. Awesome. And now if you can steal a treat from Kelly for your next rep, we'll have Kelly do a rep here to the right. Perfect. And then Brandon, you'll do a target in a minute, you'll do the target and you'll deliver the treat. He's like, cool. All right, Kelly will have you do one to the right. Cool. And then Kelly, take a step back, Brandon, take a step forward. Go ahead and target to the left. Yeah, perfect, and treat. Then you're going to target him to your right next. Kelly, have a seat. Perfect. Cool. And then off to this side here. And then Kelly, we're going to have you come back in because he's getting heightened. So we'll just kind of ease back in. So stand up, Kelly. Now let's go and target to the right, Brandon.
Quickly. Hurry up.
Awesome. All right, Kelly, step in. And go ahead and do the next target. And Brandon, step back. Awesome, and Brandon, have a seat. And then Kelly, whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and just wrap up with some calm behaviors and then go ahead and put it back in the carrier.
The only thing that happened here is that visually, we saw different body language and an escalation of body language. My first cue was a fanned tail from Neo. I saw a fanned tail and I was like, uh-oh, we got some body language cues coming up. And then all the other stuff started to happen. Neo was definitely doing a little bit of eye pinning. He had some feathers raised. There's a lot going on. He does this little like bobby dance thing. We all kind of got the hint real quick that we were losing him. And I'm not proud of myself for being like, hurry up, Brandon. But it was such a crazy moment where Brandon was checking out all the treats he had in his hand, trying to pick the perfect one he was gonna deliver to Neo. And Neo was watching with anticipation, and I thought, oh my gosh, if this bird has a chance to jump to him, it is not gonna be pretty. So keep in mind, if you have this same struggle because your bird is fast paced and you're having a hard time keeping up, either deliver larger sized treats to give you more time, or tuck your treats away in like a pouch or something where they're not just out in your hand, where the bird sees, hey, there's a whole trove of treats and you're only giving me one of those. That can be really taunting and teasing to the bird.
That is a perfect length of a training session. And we aren't measuring it by like, how long can we make the session? One, we're really reading the bird's body language and we're adapting on the fly to what the birds are willing to, what they're showing us.
Right.
How many of you saw Neo get really heightened once it was only Brandon there? Yeah, you saw it?
Yeah.
Cool. So heightened, was he happy or was he pissed off? Maybe unhappy, but maybe that bouncing, some people think, oh, that's cute, right? So maybe that looks happy, maybe it looks pissed off. I don't know, but it was heightened. Heightened usually translates to somebody getting bitten. Yeah, and so that's why Jamie's like, hurry up, hurry, hurry, hurry.
Yeah.
So the moment that you took a little too long, and it wasn't much of a difference, it was like 2 seconds longer than the previous reps.
Yeah.
We got this like heightened bird, and we're like, oh crap, someone's gonna die. And to have a perfect training session, we need to make sure that we never get to where you get bitten.
Yeah.
So people often ask, what do I do when the bird bites me? The answer is don't let it bite you. And that was a perfect example. We changed something before you were about to get attacked, and it happened twice. And it just meant we had to go more at his speed. And so when Neo was offering that he was willing to do the repetition, we need to offer that repetition, especially for you.
Yeah.
He's not forgiving to you. Where he's much more forgiving with Kelly taking a little extra time, he'll wait a little bit longer, we could have some conversations, but it looks different for her than it does for you. And knowing that means go at the pace we just gave you versus following Kelly's lead and trying to match her pace, because there's two different trainers, two totally different body language for that bird.
After getting Brandon and Kelly to a point that they could see transitioning this in their home, Kelly really wanted to train Neo something new. So we thought, why not the wave? The wave is something that can be incredibly difficult to train small birds because they're so fast paced and fast moving. So we just decided to take on a challenge.
So let's just do a step up and then back down for the treat.
Step up.
We gotta hop.
I think we need to not use that cue though if we're gonna try to get a wave. Like not the vocal cue, right?
Right, yeah. What if you offer the back of your hand? Like, so what we're doing now is we're just trying to see what gets us the most likelihood for the behavior we want to see. So we can try offering a slightly different position with our fingers, right? Like if it's like this, he's like, what do you want?
So when your hand is like this far away from him, he thinks he's supposed to jump and you're missing the opportunity for him to like lift a foot. So a step up would be 1 foot at a time. You're getting both, which we can't capture.
Right. Okay.
And we don't want to reward that because we don't want that to be the criteria. So I would try to go in way closer and see if you can get him to lift a
and
foot.
almost come up.
Okay.
Yeah, just slowly, slowly, right there. See if he'll lift a foot.
I don't get it.
There.
Treat.
Reward, reward.
So you can see where the clicker timing is really important.
The first thing we did is just tried to see what Neo's response was when we kind of moved Kelly's hand around in different ways in different areas. We realized the step up wasn't gonna help us, which traditionally you would just bring your hand in close enough the bird thinks that you wanna step up. It lifts its foot a little bit to go to step up and you're able to capture that. Neo was 1, too fast, and 2, the step up was more of a quick hop with both feet at the same time. So we couldn't use that tactic today. We ended up spotting a pattern. By we, I mean Dave. He spotted this pattern where when Neo would get a treat, he would eat it and consume it, and then his little foot would come up to his face and almost wipe it. And it was just a few seconds later, and when Dave figured that out, he started having her wait for this. Now, we got Dave to have the clicker so that he could watch the body language really, really closely, since this can be tricky. And we had Kelly delivering the treats, and then I was videotaping, and I'd like to say I was helping.
And then we'll just kind of hold and wait him out, because eventually he kind of offered something, which I think was more like he was going to clean his face, but just go and reset him. So just hold there.
Cool. I don't think your hand is cueing. I think it's just something about him is doing it. So I just wait this one out.
But he's almost done chewing and keeps touching his face at that point.
Nice.
All right, so we're looking for patterns that lead us that direction. Oh, once he's done chewing, I'm probably getting that here in a sec. There. You see the pattern that he's starting to show and where it's almost becoming predictable. So after this, he usually lifts it a couple times too once he's done.
Oh my god, it scared me.
This should help everybody see the importance of precise clicker timing too. He's still eating it. So that to me is heightened but not bad. Where with Brandon it was heightened, I'm pissed. So same body language, maybe different intention.
He's been trying to figure out what the heck he's getting rewarded for. Once we figured out the pattern or the rhythm at which he would lift his foot, we were able to capture it more and more and more. And eventually I realized that everything that Kelly was doing with her hand wasn't actually helping the situation. So we took away those variables and she just stood there and we ended up just waiting. Waiting for a behavior to occur naturally is called capturing. You're basically just waiting to capture that behavior with the clicker. Now today we're making sure to use a clicker, which Kelly doesn't normally, because that instant second is such a small little moment in time, and the clicker is really the best tool for the job to be able to capture that exact moment.
So something that I want to note that you're doing is you're not adding any variables by stepping closer. We got rid of your hand. Like you're just staying kind of isolated versus if you were moving around trying to change things, it could confuse them. So I like what you're doing. Was it that?
It's like, maybe.
I think we might be able to get this in one very long session. Get ready. There it was. Yeah.
And notice he's not offering the spin anymore. He's figuring out that that's not what we're asking.
Oh, he looked at it.
Oh, I almost did it.
He's figuring it out. You see it? It's fun to watch him learn, huh?
He thinks there's a few taps involved, but he was like, wait a minute, I think I figured it out. It's like he thinks he has to shift his weight first. You know, like da-da-da-da-da. It's like 3 taps on the left, a couple taps on the right.
Cool. So once we have it in a begging phase, then we can start to assign a cue. Keep in mind it's a visual cue. Like even though we want to believe it's audible, it's typically visual. So if you want to do like a single finger as a wave, and you could just say, you know, kind of give it. So we try to time it where he's most likely to do it. So you can give the wiggle with your finger now. Okay. Cool, and you did it. Go ahead and cue again. And we'll just start pairing that with the behavior. Go ahead.
Nice.
You start to understand. I didn't get it.
No, you didn't get it. I stiffed you, buddy.
We'll try it again here. He's fast, right? So it's super hard. You have to try to predict when he's most likely to do it and be ready to click.
Nice.
So now let's just let him make a mistake because we won't cue. He's trying. He's like, why am I not getting it? We'll allow one more. And now let's cue. Okay, so then he has something to compare. He's like, I did it, but I didn't get a treat. Why not? Because we didn't give the cue. So now go ahead and give the cue. Let's give him a bunch of wins in a row. Let's pause a little bit longer before the next cue. So we try to match our cue with the timing he's naturally going to do it. And go ahead.
Are you going to push to burnout?
Just because we're in the class, yeah. Normally we would have ended this a long time ago. Just for clarity's sake. It's definitely getting a little full.
I think we should end.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Do you see where to take it from there now?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Cool, it was really good.
Pretty good.
It's fun watching it. Kind of.
It is.
Just a transition.
Hell yeah!
Heck yeah, man. Now, because we're in a masterclass setting, we push harder than we would tell you to push at home, and we were able to get really far in this single session. We pushed until Neo was definitely on the brink of losing interest. Normally, we would say, stop before that point. You can see though, we still had some room for him to step up as a trick and go in the carrier as a trick. So I still say that we were very successful in today's session and pushed it as far as we possibly could, even implementing a cue all in one session.
It's fun to see him do stuff. But I'm happy that he started to, put the pieces together. He's like, oh, okay, this is making sense. When I taught him how to turn around, it took a couple sessions, and then he was like, this is what you want, this is what I'm gonna do it all the time. To get him to step up, that was like maybe 3 hours. I'm the slow, and it takes me time.
Yeah, so if you had 2 hours to get the spin, 3 hours for the step up, and then 15 minutes for the wave, we've got 5 hours and 15 minutes of formal training to get 3 behaviors. The reason I highlight that is imagine the rest of the hours that you've spent with this bird that he's learning things that we didn't do on purpose. Right? That hits hard because look at how intelligent they are. In 15 minutes, we got a wave. And that's because we did it with intention. So every interaction should have that same level of intention if we want to get more of the behaviors we want. The behaviors you wanted are the wave, the spin, and the step up. And so if we have that same intention with every interaction, just imagine how much further we'd get. But that looked awesome.
So originally in this training session, you saw us waiting longer amounts of time for Noah to actually raise his little foot up to his mouth. And it took us a while to figure out what that pattern looked like. But as the session went on, you could see Noah really figuring it out. And at first I was joking that he thought that like tapping around the perch and then offering his foot up was part of the trick. But we were able to narrow it down and really shape it to just that foot raising. And it was really awesome to see in a single session. By Noah, I mean Neo. Freaking names. As Dave was pointing out in this session, it's amazing how much we can teach these birds. They are so intelligent when we're really focused and intentional. And again, like he said in the masterclass, imagine what they're learning when we're not intentional.
Do you guys feel like you had kind of an aha moment? And if so, what was any breakthrough moment today?
Surprisingly, it isn't related to the training session, more of the stuff we talked about kind of in the beginning with the diet. I'm gonna change that first because obviously the problems that I have, I feel really bad that I'm a veterinarian and my bird has issues. But I'm working on it, and it's not linear, it's more of like a back road in the middle of the country. But yeah, the aha moment, I'm gonna try the diet first with everything else, but like watching you guys kind of engage and like seeing you pick up on nuanced behaviors that I know about but don't really focus on, helped me a lot. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Cool, I love hearing that. Did you have any breakthrough moments, Brandon, or things that were lessons that you picked up on today?
Yeah, just his body language. I never even noticed that until you guys mentioned it and everything. And being able to see when he's gonna get aggravated, didn't notice it at all when you guys said it. So until after, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. Awesome. So I guess that, and then also the target training and everything, and then getting him more familiar with me and everything. So then we could be friends.
I love it.
I can't wait for Kelly and Brandon to go home and have more success just taking off from what they learned here in class today. And I'm especially excited to see the difference in Neo when they change the diet for the better. If you want to learn about the healthiest parrot diet, check out birdtricks.com and my seasonal feeding system along with our organic pellets. That is the recommended diet for all species of parrots except for nectar-eating species like the lory or lorikeet. Parrots are the third most popular pet in the entire world, yet the #1 most rehomed. If you're interested in joining our mission of saving parrots one person at a time, visit birdtricks.com to learn more about our parrot training courses, organic bird food, all-natural parrot toy line, and much, much more. When we know better, we do better. It's through you that we can help people offer only the best quality products to their parrots, along with the knowledge they need to live in harmony with their birds through permission-based training. Visit birdtricks.com today to learn more.